Hello Wolfpack and welcome back to the show. Today, I'm going to review an excellent post that I found on Reddit under the men's rights subreddit. I don't normally go on this, but I just happened across it and it was quite thought-provoking and very relevant to the lone wolf lifestyle. It begins, "Men must stop playing by the rules, walk away, and claim their autonomy. The gender contract is null and void. If a new social contract is to be agreed, it must be agreed by free men." This is a post about why men need to free themselves right now. Men need to splash some cold water on their face, look at the world around them, smell the effing coffee, and claim the freedom that's theirs to take if they would only see it. Their inability to grasp that the gender contract has been rescinded is infuriating. This is their own doing, and it is why they are not free. They insist that to be a man they must concede to chivalrous codes and the feminine imperative. But the chivalrous codes are no longer needed nor valid, and the feminine imperative has no interest in their needs and is not offering anything in return. Walk away, the contract is void. You are a free man, no more marriage, children or duty to protect and reproduce, a whole life ahead of you, where only you are king. The only solution for men is to reject chivalry, gallantry, patriotism, gentlemanliness, and all the other traditions of male vassalage. These have been the pillar of the male gender role in Western civilization. That's over now. Literally, they must scrape it out from the bottom of their heart and their groins and fling it into the sea, and give no apology and ask for nothing in return. You are free. Women are not you, and you are not women. Walk away from them. The contract is severed. You no longer have anything to gain from the gender contract. Committing to it, from your point of view, is neither intelligent nor moral, nor will anyone thank or congratulate you for it. Perhaps some women will bite their nails as men begin to walk away, but forget them. Freedom is more important to you than what they want. They can take care of their own problems. It's not your responsibility. Women have long walked away from the contract that men are still trying to fulfill. They do not want to offer you love in exchange for material provision and personal risk. They do not want lifelong companionship. They no longer need this. When you offer to provide it and ask for love and commitment, they accept in the same way that I accept cash for free. Society does not expect women to give you anything in return for anything you offer. Thus you are free. You are a free man. The conditions of society have changed, and if men could only see the freedom they have in front of them, the gender debate would be over, and would step into a whole new paradigm. You must learn to be an autonomous, free, and sovereign person. You need to become the king of yourself and nobody else. This means pursuing your interests, ambitions, and your relationship with the world as a core lifelong strategy. The easy route is no longer an option. The easy route being the male trope, duty to protect, duty to reproduce, violence, and estual vassalage. You are a man. This doesn't mean what it did before. It doesn't mean that you are a servant whose duty is to protect, and parrot society. It means exactly what you are, with all its complications and possibilities. You are not a estual slave, subservient to women's or men's wishes and agendas. Your desires are yours, and you can manage them alone or with others who join you. You are free. Your contract of duty to civilization is void. You are no longer required to be violent or tough to protect the well-being of others. Such efforts are generally laughed at by men who themselves continue to offer themselves as vassals. You no longer need to be a machine without rational intelligence or feeling, trained and ready to perform on demand. You are no longer required to be violent, stay away from military conflict, where you are ordered to protect people who neither appreciate nor believe in the suffering you'll endure. Forget them. Society has failed to give you a decent contract. Throw the contract in the bin and walk away. You are a free man. A free man does not mean something other than exactly what you are and what you want to do today, in the next months, and with the rest of your life. You don't need to work for anyone, for anyone, or fight for anyone to be a free man. All you need to do is discover what you want what interests you, enjoy it, and if you want, achieve it. You depend on yourself for yourself. Otherwise, society, your previous lords and masters, will not offer you anything in return for your service of duty. See the freedom in front of you and take it. Walk away from the ancient gender contract. Don't listen to women's and men's demands of what you should be or need to be. 21st century is the century of the emancipated man. Do it your way. If a new social contract is to be written, it must be written not only by autonomous women, but also by autonomous men. Renounce your vassalage. Live free and enjoy. Let society decide if it wants to agree a better deal. I would like to credit Anchor Pac-Man for releasing this very eloquent and erudite post about 6 years ago on this Reddit feed. And there's a lot to really be inspired by in this post, just for taking personal responsibility over your own life, right? And not being subservient to anyone or anything else. You know, that's why I always say that we should pursue financial independence, because that way we're not going to be dependent on salary for coin. We're not going to depend on the monthly, the weekly grind. Rejecting chivalry, gallantry, patriotism. I think patriotism can be a good thing. A love for a country and a love for a way of life, if that country has virtuous values and virtuous principles. You know, I think about the United States Constitution. If you disregard the slavery component, the document that is so often derided now and just trampled all over, they have no respect for the Constitution. If you look back at the early beginnings of the United States and the Constitution, it's probably one of the greatest gifts to mankind. But, as I said, so often just walked all over these days. And again, society does not expect women to give you anything in return for anything you offer. Thus you are free. A very great point. You know, there's a lot of standards placed on men that do actually want to date. And I've said on this channel, absolutely date if you want, but it's disadvantageous to get married in the West. Disadvantageous to cohabitate even. You know, there's a lot of standards placed on men in the dating market. You've got to be 6 feet tall, you've got to make 6-figure income, all these other things, 6-pack abs, etc., etc. There's no demands placed on the women. There's no expectations. You know, women, you're just taught, especially in the UK as well, that women are great as they are. There's no standards. If you want a woman that's thin and attractive and pleasant to be around, that you're shallow as a man, or you're a pig. And it's this imbalance that's driving a lot of men away. And I think that this fellow here has done a tremendous job in a very poetic way of describing why men are walking away and the reasons to walk away. So fair play to him. He's done a tremendous job. And I just happened across this post. Wouldn't normally go on the men's rights Reddit, but I was just doing a Google search and this came up. He's getting a lot of stick in the comments, as it appears. This lone wolf lifestyle that he's advocating. Nobody can be truly free unless they have zero needs. I can say that everybody is dependent on the atmosphere, since everybody needs to breathe. So if one need is acknowledged, there may be more. Humans are complex. We are all slaves to our needs. To which Anchor Pac-Man responds, you can be truly free if you spend each day doing what you love. It doesn't have to be complicated. If you love developing new computing technologies, you can spend the days doing that instead of paying child support checks to children you aren't allowed to meet. Or you can spend the days learning classical guitar from a master in Spain and drinking wine with good fun folk in the evenings. I only suggest those two examples because they're things I've done myself. What a legend. Society has rescinded the gender contract, so men who decide to sacrifice themselves for society receive nothing in return by default. They might receive it only because they're lucky and their wife happens to be good-hearted. There were slaves who lived adequate lives because they had decent-hearted owners. Male duty and sacrifice are ridiculed and laughed at in all the main broadsheets and by all of society. Men, however, have freedom right under their noses. They just need to walk away from the contract and live the life they want. Emancipation is staring at them head-on. When we are truly fulfilling our needs, we are not slaves to others, We might be subjectively contained by our needs, but we are not vassals of lords and masters, living a life of humiliation and scorn. So this guy is very poetic. He's got a great command of the English language. Offers some really cool insights and philosophical perspectives on taking ownership of your own life and moving forward. The good news is that vassalage is over. We are turning against the social contract for men. Our great freedom is we are allowed to do this. So long as we can acquire skills to support ourselves, nobody can stop us from living freely, travelling, making friendships, living fully, and experiencing a wholesome life. He's cut from the same cloth as me, this guy. I agree with him 100% on this. Forget about women. Nobody can blame them for wanting the best for themselves. Everybody does. Men need to become fully independent from women, and this means not even thinking about what women are up to politically. Some of the more Machiavellian women are trying to turn touching their arm or leaning in for a kiss into a crime. Are they sane, mentally competent? Machiavelli was. It isn't my concern. Good luck to them. So long as there isn't an illegitimate child involved, you owe them nothing. Go and enjoy your life, and maybe in 20 years, society will realise it needs men and offer a better deal. But if not, who cares? Freedom is yours. Absolutely. The stuff about getting into the military and so on, military can be a great career. I know that Aaron Clarey has recommended it as a career choice for a lot of people, for a lot of men. Me personally, I wouldn't give the state the opportunity to sign me up for a needless war. I mean, I personally have known people in the past who have had to go and fight in Afghanistan, and we've seen what's happened there. It's been a disaster. The country is back where it was 20 years ago. You know, if you sign up and you go out there with some of your mates who you're going to fight side by side with and get shot at, and then you see your friends get killed all over a needless conflict that didn't have to happen in a region of the world that you don't care about, is irrelevant to you. That's not freedom. You're being subjugated. You're being used as a tool by the state, by an insidious state. And that needs to stop. You don't want to do that. You've got no business joining the military unless you love the country and what it represents and the values, and the country is being run effectively and it's generally a nice place to live. That's the only reason I would do it. If I was living in a country that I loved to death and it was threatened by a tyrant and they were going to invade my country and take it away from me, then give me the rifle. But other than that, no, I'm not fighting someone else's oil war. Thanks. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Again, this is a great piece summing up the reasons why men are walking away and why they should walk away in the West. Thanks for listening as always. Don't forget to like and comment on the video, and I'll see you in the next one.